Well, thank you guys so much for coming in today. We're excited to have you. Why don't you introduce yourself for all the kids at home?
Okay, I'm Jason. I sing and play guitar.
I'm Alex. I play guitar.
I'm Matt. I play bass.
I'm Steve, and I play the drums.
And tell us a little bit about Wait, I'm gonna get this wrong. I know.
Tis the season to be fearless.
Oh, yeah.
That's a compilation that Fearless is coming out with, and it's called "Tis the Season to Be Fearless."
And you guys are on it?
We are on it.
And what song are you playing?
We did "Oh Holy Night."
Nice. Now, did you guys get any say in what song you get to play on that kind of album?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah?
They said, hey, we need a Christmas song. We said, okay.
Okay, we'll pick one. What made you pick "Oh Holy Night"?
It's awesome.
Have you heard it? Like, there's
Yeah,
so much
it is
potential there.
a
There's
good
so many
song.
awesome things with that song. It would. If no one did it on a compilation, it would just be sad. I would cry about it later.
Well, with so many different ways that you can go with it, how'd you pick which direction to head with that song?
We never really had a choice. The direction we went.
The best way.
Yeah.
Good.
Kind of. I guess we decided you could only describe it as a rock opera.
Awesome.
It's about
Very
a
cool.
6-minute rock opera. I'm not being sarcastic.
No, that's not. That
I
sounds
mean, what we did with the
awesome.
song.
Early on, when we first started talking about doing it, we had everyone kind of had like this one part in mind where we were like, okay, we wanted to slow down and do this, and there's gonna be a guitar solo right here and then the high note, and that's what we want. And then we kind of built the rest of the song around that one part at the end.
awesome.
So
That's awesome.
Very cool. So speaking of Fearless, you guys are right now on the Fearless Friends tour. Now, how does that feel, knowing that you're on tour with a bunch of other bands that have gone through not necessarily the same, but similar experiences that you guys have going through the same label, working with a lot of the same people, etc.?
I don't think I've thought about it.
Yeah, I don't really feel like it's that different. I think the coolest thing about this tour is the fact that everyone before, whether you knew each other or not, we were friends by proxy.
Right.
You know, like we are friends with Mayday Parade because we're from the same town. We've met a couple of guys from Breathe, Carolina before. Some of us knew a couple guys from Hartford, but like on and off. But then instantly, like when you join a tour, when a tour starts, there's usually this role-defining period where people find, okay, who's going to be the jerk band, who's going to be the party band, who's going to be friends, and who's going to stick together. But in this case, everyone's just like, hey, we're buddies, let's hang out. And I think that's been the biggest part of it being a Fearless. But
yeah, it's been more of a relief than anything because no one really had to sit there and like. And like you said, there were no roles to define. Everyone was just kind of like already on the same page. So yeah, it was good.
Yeah. And you guys haven't actually been on Fearless for that long, right? About a year?
about a year.
About a year? So what were you guys all doing before Fearless Records?
Working.
Working?
Just touring,
Yeah,
DIY.
pretty much the same thing, just without Fearless Records.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Has it always, how long have you guys actually been together as a band?
3 years.
3.5.
3 years?
Coming up on 3.5 years.
Has it always been like a dream individually for you guys to someday have a band, go on tour, put out albums, do the music that
Yeah.
Yeah.
I figure that there's no point in anyone doing something like this unless it's been their goal for a really long time. It's not something you can just jump into and then...
Yeah.
Because, not to go off on a tangent, but I was talking to someone from another band, and it's one of those things where if this is your life, you really don't have much of another life. This is it.
Yeah.
Everything else is secondary and put on hold whether you like it or not. And so this isn't something you kind of just like ease into. You're either in or you're not. So if you haven't been dreaming about it your whole life, you're just wasting time.
Right. So what's it like finally having somebody say, we want to sign you to our label? We want to help you put out records. We want you to tour. We want to have merch with your name on it. What's that like?
It's kind of like I don't know. You hear that, and it's kind of like you're watching like everything you've been working for, kind of like actualize in front of you. It's like you can see it, and you know, like they talk about instant gratification, and it's the exact opposite of instant gratification. It's like I've been busting my ass for the last 2 years at this point to do this, you know, to try and get to this point, and then when, you know, it's never like a. No one ever just walks up and says, hey, we want to sign you.
Sure.
You know, like that. There's a long period. We talked to a bunch of different people, and you know, even once, you know, Fearless and ourselves decided that Fearless was the way to go, and that we were in fact going to try and make Fearless happen. There was still like 6 months of just negotiation back and forth. Like, yeah, I can't even really put my finger on the exact moment when we were signed to Fearless. Like,
no, I couldn't either.
It's so long as stretched out.
It's interesting too because it's one of those things where when you get signed, like individually in this band, a couple of people have been signed in other bands by big indies and by small indies and stuff like that. But it's one of those things where it's kind of it's a checkpoint. But it's one of those things where you work for it, and once you get there, you're like, yes, we made it. No, you're just like, okay, now what's the next checkpoint?
Right.
You're like, we're here, now we have to make the best record ever. We have to sell X amount of records, and we have to tour. You know what I mean? It's like, it's probably the single biggest checkpoint for the beginning.
It's
like,
definitely a cornerstone.
it's an actualization point, you know, and then from there, it's, you know.
It's only the beginning.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
Now-
almost starting over.
Now that you guys have come so far, do you ever look back on? You were mentioning before that you have a funny story on how you guys got together. Do you look back on those stories and kind of laugh?
I think he was kidding. He said that. He was just joking. It's not a funny story. It's just a long story.
All right.
But absolutely, I'd say that if we look back at the origin of this band and a lot of the decisions we made in the first year to year and a half are kind of comical. Like it's good. It's good that it happened, so that we get to this point. But if we could go back to then, it might have saved ourselves a whole bunch of time and made different
Right.
decisions.
Yeah.
But you guys learned from it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just like
Yeah.
anything else.
And you're rising up now.
Do my
Trying.
best.
Well,